I'm really, really finicky about all the details that I have in my space. I have to, I must surround myself with stuff that makes me happy. So even books, all the little postcards, like figurines, I don't know, the shape of a couch, stuff like that.
Hello, my darlings. I am here in another studio in the beautiful new tattoo space of my friend Natasha. Would you please introduce yourself with your name, your last name too, because you're known as your full name. So I want to hear you pronounce your last name. I feel like I don't do it justice. How many years you've been tattooing? Where are you from? And let's see, your favorite color.
Okay. Hi, I'm Natasha Tsozik. I'm from Siberia, from Russia. So I grew up in snows of Siberia. And I've been tattooing since 2012. And I also apprenticed with henna since 2021. And my favorite color is blue as my couch.
When you started tattooing in 2012, was it under somebody else or were you just totally self-taught?
No, like before that, before I apprenticed with Hannah Wolf, as you know her.
Yes.
I was self-taught because in Russia, where I started, there is no such thing in general as apprenticeship, so there is no apprenticeship institute. As a thing. So basically everyone just starts tattooing on their own and eventually they go to a shop and they are surrounded by other artists who train them or like tell them, what they're doing wrong, etc., etc. But yeah.
So that is incredible because, I look at a lot of work coming out of Russia or used to, less so now. But these tattoo artists coming out of Russia, like their technique, they're perfect. It's like there's not a dot out of place. It seems like the standard for Russian tattoo artists from what I saw, in the last decade. And so I'm just amazed to hear that everybody's self-taught.
Well, you definitely didn't see all the artists in Russia that are, not really good.
Yeah.
There are a lot of those, especially if you, don't really know what your mistakes are and you are self-taught and you are not ready for any type of critique, right? So the only people you see are those who are not like that, who were ready for to teach themselves and to be taught by other people, by their coworkers, or I guess they're just not called apprentices. You're just a beginner artist. And what it means that just everyone just gives you advice, or you ask them for advice if you're open to it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How many were you in several shops there?
No,
starting out.
No, like when I started out, I just practiced on my sister, my husband, so they have all those nasty, stupid tattoos. And then we moved to America in 2013. So basically I didn't have much time, to go to a shop there in Russia, right? I just was trying to understand if I even want to do that. And then we moved to America and I was like, I can't work and because of my visa status, so I didn't. So a lot of the years I just I worked as a illustrator, stuff like that. So I couldn't work, and then the moment I was able to, I started working with henna.
So she gave you a formal apprenticeship at that point?
She did. Yeah. So how it happened, basically. we got introduced, and then we went to a conference, to do conference together, and then we vibed there. We made friends, and she invited me to work together at her shop. But then she saw that, and it was after pandemic, right? She saw that I really needed some guidance, and she offered me apprenticeship, and I was like, yeah, I'll be glad to. I really needed that.
Talk about perfect technique. She's
Exactly.
so proficient at just all the styles that I see her do. Her work is, flawless.
Exactly. Yeah. That's, I was really happy that she did that. She basically gave me a kickstart in my career. Yeah.
So going back to Russia and the tattoo scene there. So I left Russia when I was 12. So I never really got to experience it as a young adult or even a teenager so much. But there's such a looks-oriented culture across every discipline there, right? When I see the people I see on Instagram who are tattoo artists there, they're always they look perfect. They their work is perfect. Everything's very looks perfect, right? How do you conceive of that? What do you think about that as far as culture goes? As far as, I guess I'm trying to ask, in my estimation, art is not to be flawless in technique, sure, but art, we're humans, and art is made by humans on human skin, so it's not gonna, once it settles and heals, it's not gonna look 100% perfect. There's gonna be something, a dot has fallen out, a little patch that's lighter, right? And everything coming out of Russia is so glitzy, glamorous, at least on the outside. Do you have thoughts about that?
I mean, obviously, just the way how people kind of learned, to present themselves. Yeah. And you're right about the looks culture. So you have to be perfect. And even if you're, trying to avoid that, it's really deep in you. And it's ingrained. That's, I guess, why even Instagrams are like that. So every picture has to be perfect, in different kinds of way, I guess. But then, obviously, it's a tattoo, so it heals as it heals.
But also,
there's no magic in there.
No, there's no magic in there for sure. But it's also, I'm thinking about the way that they look. The people who I see, tattoo artists, it's their full face of makeup, perfectly applied, their long hair, their, they look like models. Every time I look at Russian tattoo artists, I'm why do you have to look like that? You're a tattoo artist. Be messy, be weird. Why are you wearing a full face of makeup? That's what, that's kind of where I'm at. Why everything is so put together.
I know what you mean, but personally, I know different people, so they're not all like that.
They're not all like that.
All try to, be perfect in how they present themselves, being this stereotypical kind of Russian model, right? I don't know, it's their choice, I guess, but I know different people, because I was there, was part of that, culture.
Right, and that's will be my next question is you don't present that way. You have short hair, you don't really wear makeup, you wear, cool clothes that are comfortable, right? You don't wear heels the way that so many women coming out of Russia do. And how did you escape? Did you used to? How did you escape that? How did you make the transition to being your own self versus fitting into that culture?
Yeah, it takes a while. I don't know. You have to change your mindset, I guess. At some point I was nah, I only can wear something that is comfortable. And I don't know, I really like bright clothes. So even if I'm not wearing high heels, right, I still can be out of the place somewhere, especially in Russia. Right?
Did you always stick out as a young personal self, not somebody who fit into the mainstream culture?
Yeah, but obviously kind of depended on the style of clothes, what was on brand, in fashion, etc. And I tried all kind of different hairstyles. I had long hair, I had long blonde hair, and I always like this girly, tried wearing heels, etc. Like different kind of stages of my life, you know.
Just didn't feel like you.
I mean, at that time it felt like me, you know. And then I get bored with stuff, so I just tried different kind of, you know, ways of clothing. And my mom really kind of helped me in a way. So she really was all for, you know, for me to try different clothes, you know, some like not really, you know, stereotypical ones and like weird shapes, etc. She was really supportive of that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and she would like make us clothes that I really loved, you know. And then
she would like make clothes for you guys, like sew clothes. That's awesome.
Yeah, I always liked what she, you know, made for us. And she has a really good kind of style. Yeah.
What was school like for you? Like being this different artsy kid with like homemade clothes?
Oh, it was torture.
Yeah.
What helped me, like I was really bored at school. Actually, I don't even remember it that well because I was bored and I don't remember stuff when I was bored. But I attended art school for kids.
Okay.
That
Are you talking
really
about
helped me.
on Sundays or like during the whole week?
During the week, it's like what, 4 days a week. Like you go to art school.
But you also went to regular school.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
it's like
so you had
different
double
schools.
the schools. It wasn't like an art. Like how here you can have like an art school that's your school. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was like 2 schools. Yeah. It's like a secondary education, basically. That's only what you have like different classes on different, I don't know, for example, art history, or like how you, like composition, or like you create a still life painting, or like a portrait, etc. And it was like really all like really classical kind of art oriented.
Yeah, I took some art classes when I was a kid in Russia too. It was so, like, looking back on it now, I'm like, that was so boring.
Yeah, it
like,
can be boring.
They don't make it fun for the kids.
But yeah, it was really like that. But what helped me was the community, the kids who went to that art school. It's basically where my, you know, they were my friends, because I didn't make a lot of friends at like regular school, and I changed schools pretty often. So art school was this something constant in my life for several years. Yeah.
Are you still friends with any of those kids from art school?
Yeah. My best friend, I made friends with her at that art school.
Are they still in Russia?
They're still in Russia. Okay. Yeah.
What city are you from?
I'm from Tomsk. It's in like the middle of Siberia. Basically, it's like Tomsk, and it's a college city.
Okay. Yeah, there's a big university there. I took the Trans-Siberian train one time when I was 19 years old.
Boring.
I loved it. I was 19, so it was, you know, had this very like sort of
romanticized
shit in my brain.
Yeah.
And it was winter, and I was going from Japan to Russia.
Oh my god!
So I took a boat to Vladivostok, and then from there I took the train across to Moscow, and it was maybe boring, but also amazing at that time. You know, I just like sat and read books and like talked to people, and so I feel like I rode by your town somewhere.
No, probably not.
Well, not close, but you know, like in the vicinity, sort of in the.
Yeah, my town is sort of like an appendix. It's like the railroad, it goes there, right? But it kind of, to go to other parts of Russia, you have to do this like little, I don't know, turn, and then you go to another town, and then they connect you to another train, and then you go on that like other railroad, whatever.
Okay, it's an offshoot.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, it's Siberia. I went through Siberia on my way.
You did.
By
it's
the
so
lake.
Giant, though.
Have you been to the lake?
Baikal? No.
That's cool.
It's far from me. Yeah. But I've heard it's really beautiful.
It's really beautiful, even just going by it on the train.
Yeah.
So how did you meet your husband?
Ooh. It is a funny story. It's really a funny story. So basically, I had a boyfriend at that time, and his best friend, he really wanted my ex to meet my now husband and for them to make friends. I don't know why.
Wait, your boyfriend at the time had a friend, and the friend knew them both and wanted to introduce your boyfriend and your now husband.
Exactly.
So they could be friends.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. And both of them didn't like each other. They hated each other. Like they, felt weird. And I was like, whatever, Dima, nice to meet you. That's it. But after a while, I, broke off with that ex. And Dima was having a celebration of New Year's at his place, and he invited me and that friend who introduced us, basically, to
Why
to
did he invite
celebrate.
you? Because he liked you already
Probably
at the start. As a love at first
I
sight.
don't know. I usually have to ask him.
We should have brought him along.
Truly. So I went to to his place for New Year's Eve, and then we had so much fun that we didn't pick up phone to let in the other friend.
Oh.
He didn't drop by. He just wanted to tell us that he was at some other place, whatever. We didn't hang him dry, but I was like, we didn't care.
So it was just the two of you?
Yeah, it was just the two of us. So every New Year's Eve, it's basically our celebration of how our relationship started.
And the New Year's Eve, for listeners of this podcast, is a huge deal in Russia. This is the biggest holiday we have. It really is on the level of your birthday, if not more. It's the time when you get the best gifts. As a little kid, you get to stay up past midnight. So it's like Christmas, but it's even more. And for young people, right, when you are past the kind of age of childhood, you'll probably be with your friends more than your family, but you might also be with your family. You might combine the two sort of worlds in your world. That's where you introduce your friends to each other. That's it's the biggest holiday we have. So
Truly,
for the two of you to be alone on that day is unusual.
It is.
Yeah.
So now New Year's Eve is, our personal kind of celebration holiday. We still like it, kind of spend it just two of us, just together, and we give presents to each other. It's fun. And we celebrated Russian people celebrated almost like Christmas. So we have a Christmas tree, right?
Well, we call it the New Year's tree, and we have a red star on the top for communism.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it is. It's basically what happened when communism, when communists established in Russia, they wanted to cancel all the religion. So they're like, whatever, let's move Christmas celebration to New Year.
Well, they wanted to keep the morale of the people. People need holidays to keep their morale up, something to look forward to, a break from work. So they wanted to leave that for the people, right? But they wanted to make it their own and not religious.
Exactly. So that's hence the red star on the on top of the tree.
Which, I've looked for that shit on eBay. I would love to have that red star from my childhood on my current tree that I have. I can't. Well, you can find old ones, but the electricity is different, right?
Yeah.
So I'm is it gonna blow up the tree?
Probably.
So I haven't bought one.
You can make your own. I guess you can get a red star, right, and put some Christmas lights in it. Inside of it, so it will glow, but it won't blow up your electrical socket.
True. I have this need for it to be directly from my childhood and not something I remake. Although you're right, that would be probably the best option.
You don't want to put set your house on fire, I guess.
From Russian,
it's helpful.
Soviet electricity, bad electrical wiring.
Expect?
Right, it'd be right on brand. So is that your favorite holiday?
It is. So we basically celebrate more New Year's Eve and our birthdays. Yeah.
Are your birthdays
They're
close
not
by?
close.
No, okay.
No.
When are your birthdays?
Mine is in April. I'm Aries.
April what?
11th. Yeah. And his is in mid-November. mid-November. So he's
Scorpio.
Scorpio. Yeah.
Okay.
So crazy
It's
combination.
a great combination. I'm an Aries, and even though I'm not currently with a Scorpio, a lot of people in my life have been Scorpios. I love Scorpios.
Truly, same for me.
Yeah.
It's weird. Kind of, I have like a lot of friends, were Scorpios, and I vibe with them pretty good. Like,
I think it's a good combo. Do you know if you have a Scorpio in your chart?
I don't remember. I checked, but like I don't remember stuff like that.
I can check for you afterwards.
Yeah. Do that.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah, I will tell you. So you guys spent New Year's together, and then you were just together after that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and after like in a couple of months, we moved in together. I moved to his place, and that's it. And 2 years later, we got married. So basically, another thing. At that night that we spent together, like December 31st and January 1st, he's like looked at me, asked me my full name, and then he's like, "Will you marry me?" And
that first
somehow,
day.
on the first night, yeah, somehow he asked me that, somehow he knew, and somehow I said yes. So it was so weird.
Were you guys drunk?
Obviously.
Yeah, okay.
We were so drunk. But like, I mean, we both were drunk before. No one, nobody of us asked other people to marry them, or like, said yes to some people
Sure.
to get married. It just somehow like, he knew. And then we didn't get married straight away. We, lived together for about 2 years, and then got married. Yeah.
It's really clear from social media and what people say is that your husband's like obsessed with you. I'm sure it goes both ways. But I love that. I love that because you've been together now for a long time and you've gone through a lot of changes together. You moved to a different country, dealing with not being able to work, right? Like you come from a small, snowy Russian town and you're here in like the Bay. Like there's a lot of different changes. How did you two stay growing together and not growing apart?
It can be hard work for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes we have fights and then we talk and, try to change stuff or, I don't know, discuss stuff. But like, in some ways we're really similar, but in other ways we're really different. So we kind of try to learn from each other. I don't know if it, always works. It just, I don't know. What I know for myself is that like I'll stay with him forever. And that helps.
You just like have that as a knowledge in you that you're like, that's not going to change.
Yeah. So, because I guess like in some other relationship, you can think like, oh, what if we, break off the relationship, and you kind of have it on your mind periodically, right? I don't have that. I know that I will stay with that person.
Is it something as it's a value you have for your life, like where if you commit, you commit, or is it about like soulmates, kind of a knowing? Like what's the knowing?
Yeah, it's not that like if I commit, I commit. It just I'm just my specific husband is just this specific person. That's how I feel about him, because I like to burn bridges. And before my husband, like all the relationship I had is like if I get annoyed or bored, etc., I broke off those relationships like pretty easily and like completely took those people out of my life. Like I was like, whatever, bye. But somehow it's different. Yeah.
And you don't know what the difference is?
I don't know. No, I guess like I feel that he loves me very much.
He does, clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've exchanged 2 words with him, Olive, but it's still clear.
So when you feel it, when you feel the love, it helps to know that you'll get through everything. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is, but yeah, I don't know how you can like not change it, but like how you can aspire to it, like how you get it, it's just either it is or it's not,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
You just have to find a person or several people,
right.
Like that. Yeah. Not necessarily, especially in the Bay,
I mean, especially in the Bay, right? Most people are polyamorous, but also I just feel like it's, I I love the idea of like a knowing, you know, and also for me, I've always left room for change in myself, you know, and also in like somebody I used to be with, I didn't feel like I really knew them until things went bad.
Yeah.
Like when things went bad, I was like, who is this person? This is not the person I thought I married.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, you know, if you like feel like you really know your person, I think that's where that knowing can come from. If you really feel like you truly know who they are and like you really know their heart and you know the possibilities of how they might act.
Yeah, I agree. But we got like together pretty young. We were like what, 22 or something? Like, or we got married when at 23. So we were like babies. As I, you know, look at it right now. So we went through stages where we were like fighting all the time. You know, we kind of were two different people, and we were trying to kind of make something together, right? And we had to change in a way. And it's like you try to find compromise, but still not to lose yourself. And it can be hard for sure.
Well, especially I think because you're coming from a place where culture is so oriented towards the mainstream and how people get together. Having kids is not really a question, right? Most people just have kids. That's what you're supposed to do. They look a certain way. They do certain jobs. Like it's much more traditional in a lot of ways. So for a young couple coming out of that kind of space, coming to the States and living an alternative life, I feel like it's really different. You know, it's interesting. It's different, right? That you could grow in ways that were similar. Like I'm assuming you guys are not interested in children, for example.
I mean, we are.
You are? Okay.
It just didn't happen for us yet.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you do want to have a kid?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I hope that happens for you.
We'll see. I have endometriosis, so it, you know,
It makes it
can
more
be hard for
difficult.
me. Yeah. So it's like a chronic disease thing.
Yeah, right. It's possible also still, but I know there's more involved.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. Speaking of endometriosis, like 1 in 10th, women, I think has it, and it's so prevalent, but it's so difficult to. It's like when a doctor tells you that you have it, so it's really difficult to find
Diagnosis. Well, I bet it's not that difficult, except they don't care to study it more.
Yeah, that's another thing for sure. Yeah, well, it is difficult because you only can see that you have it if you have like a surgery, and they really looked inside of you and saw that you have those.
What about a little camera?
I don't know.
Sounds
yeah,
terrible.
That's what you said. Like they just don't study it enough. Yeah, for sure. And they don't even know why we have this.
Right.
Yeah.
The variety in humans. Okay, so I was really curious when you said that you were somebody who cuts people off easily, or that you used to cut people off, like friendships or other relationships.
I was like, surgically?
Like, yes, let me cut your arm off, leave it here, I'll chat to it, come back, I'll sew it back on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So have you broken up with...
A bunch of people, yeah.
Do you ever sit down with them and say, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore? Not with dating partners, but with friends. Like, this friendship's no longer working for me.
No, I usually...
Just ghost.
I didn't talk. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I was like, I don't do this anymore, obviously. But nowadays, even, it's just, you just grow apart, I guess. And that's how it was too. You just started doing other stuff,
And what about with clients? So client relationships can be layered, especially over time. When years go by, people might step on your boundaries. How do you tend to work out the more difficult client relationships?
I don't know. I'm pretty lucky with my clients.
Yeah.
I can't say I have a lot of difficult clients.
Not yet, you don't.
No, I mean, first of all, a lot of people just are, they come to me because of my style, and a lot of those people are really soft and kind of tend not to cross my boundaries. Yeah. Sure, some of the people that I met can be like bossy a bit, but I set boundaries. Yeah.
And that's not to say, that I have a lot of that happening too, but in the years, there's been here and there situations, right?
Yeah.
And so I think about that, what happens for other tattoo artists. Like, I feel like I give a lot, and I think you give a lot of yourself to the relationships you have with your clients, probably more than most tattoo artists do. And I think that's where like things can happen that can be messy.
Truly. What helps, I guess, is a perfectly set a routine. So, like when I start working with a client, first of all, I write down, like I have a FAQ section on my website, right? And you can read everything that would follow, how everything would look like. And I want to make a video about that too. So like what it is working with me, like what will you get? And on every...
Go ahead, tell us.
Yeah. Okay.
If you just some points from that.
Okay, so how it usually starts with people fill in the inquiry form on my website, or they can directly email me, for example, and ask them questions, about the project. And if I kind of think that this project is a good fit, I tell them that, let's have a consultation. And my consultations are mostly online through, for example, like a Zoom consultation. And the first one is just a 30 minutes consultation. There is like a little fee for that consultation. And during that talk, we discuss everything that would happen basically, and details of their project, what they want to have, or maybe I tell them about limitations of tattooing, right? Like I cannot do that, etc., or I can do that, but it will look different, etc.
Where's your line in regards to somebody being very particular? Are you okay with people being very particular, very like nitpicky almost?
I have clients like that.
Okay, so you don't necessarily need them to give you lots of freedom.
No.
Okay.
No, it depends. People are different, right? And I definitely have some nitpicky clients who are really specific about what they want. And so what helps is I always ask them to send me like reference images, right? Maybe they're like crude drafts. Even if they don't know how to draw, it doesn't matter. Just show me what shapes you want, or like just sketch something really quick, and it's my job to turn it into a beautiful tattoo, right? So that, and also for some people it helps to have another type of consultation. I have another one, and it's a drawing together consultation, and it is an hour long, and it costs
$1,500. Just kidding.
Yeah, right. And you'll get a draft, like a stolen draft of a fox. Even if you want a flower, you'll get a fox. You
still get the fox. That same fox. You always get the same fox.
And for 10 million, you'll get a sketch. Exactly. No, it just costs like my hour.
Your hour of like tattoo time, all the same.
Yeah.
So how does that work? It's still on Zoom?
It's on Zoom. Yeah.
And so you just do it on your iPad, or you have your phone like pointed at the iPad?
Basically, how you can do it on Zoom, you can share your
screen. Okay.
Yeah, and they see what I'm drawing. And what we do is basically we look at their reference images, we get some new ones from internet, right? And I just put everything together, like this draft of a project that they want. And an hour is not enough for me to finalize the sketch, but it's okay for us to get like a better understanding what exactly they want. For example, like if they have a specific kind of idea, they want this project, they want like those elements, and we'll put them
put it together
on this, put them together, and it's like, do you think this should be this size in relativity to this other size, part of the project, etc., etc. And then I just just quickly maybe line over, sketch the thing that we came up together. And at the end, they're like, oh, nice. And now I understand that we are moving in the right direction. And the next step, basically the sketch that I send them, they're not so afraid that, it will fit to the idea that they want.
Right. They trust you
more. They trust me more.
Does it not make you feel self-conscious to draw in front of somebody watching?
Oh, it is. It makes me feel really self-conscious. I don't know. I have to work with this, and I do. I don't have a lot of those consultations. Luckily, people are more trustful.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Like I'm not saying that the people who need those drawing together consultations are not like trusting. It's just something they need, because I send sketches beforehand.
You do? I
do, but not too much in advance. It's like I send them the week of their appointment. So, for example, I tattoo Wednesday through Saturday, right? And I have consultations and I draw for the week on Monday and Tuesday. So basically, if you have your appointment on Wednesday, I'll send you your sketch on Monday. And we can go like back and forth with revisions maybe, or like they say, oh, I love it, perfect, see you on Wednesday.
You're very generous. The revisions thing, the back and forth thing made me crazy, so I stopped doing it.
I do that because I come from the illustration world, basically. I used to be a freelance illustrator, so I'm pretty fine with that. I'm used to, getting revisions. It's fine. It's, and I don't want to pressure them into getting something they don't feel comfortable getting,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
And I always say to my clients that even if we're going back and forth with revisions, right, and you still want to change something, I was like, you come up to the appointment and we'll just sit down and draw together. Yeah, but at least you kind of know the direction we're working on beforehand. Yeah,
for sure. What would your ideal client session sort of entail? Ideal session with the ideal client have in it, like,
I don't know.
Features.
It's usually like most of my clients, they just come.
But then describe your typical.
Yeah. So like people just come to my studio and let them in, and I tell them, oh, here's some tea that you can have.
Does the ideal client drink the tea?
Yes.
Yes. Ideal client must take the tea.
Must. All my clients, you have to have the tea. It have some cyanide in it. No.
If you don't drink my tea.
Exactly.
I don't know if this is going to work out.
Truly. No, I have water if you don't like tea. And then they fill in the consent form and everything is chill. They like the music I have. It's mostly like, chill people.
Do you prefer to have your own music, or do you prefer them to choose the music?
I usually put my music on, but it's not like something like really specific, or really heavy that maybe I need something that like with words, because like so I'm not distracted. When I'm working, I need to focus on work, and it's something that kind of helps me to focus. Like music or like some background thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. But it's funny when clients, because I will usually just be like, "What do you want to listen to?" I'll put on whatever you like, and sometimes they will, but mostly like 75% of the time they'll be like, no, whatever you want. It's all about your comfort. And I'm like, okay, you're going to be listening to like 90s Russian pop. Yeah. You're not going to like it. So just tell me what you want. Because the shit I listen to is not that obscure, but for them it is,
Yeah, I definitely did that to some of my clients. Once we had like a long session and I put some Russian rock from the 90s. It was funny.
Which one?
It's just like a playlist with everything, all the Russian rock.
I do love Russian rock from the 90s.
Yeah. So it's fun, but like the lyrics are like ridiculous if you think about that.
Yeah.
And they're mostly about weather. It's like, about seasons. And we had
Often
just
that's, or girls
girls, obviously, like romantic or like suffering, like if a girl,
said no.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, some of my favorite shit is Yevgeny Osin. Do you know the shit?
Yeah,
It's like the most suffering boy music ever.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, so music like that. I don't usually listen to a lot of Russian music though. Like it's something, what I do listen to is like 80s, 90s music, just random stuff. And what happens sometimes, funny, like, I was like, the specific day, right? I was like, oh, let me put this playlist on. For example, it's like 80s music or like new wave or whatever, something. My client comes in, I was like, ooh, I love this playlist. It's like exactly what I usually listen to. And it happens a lot.
Yeah.
So I change the playlist and like the next client
Yeah.
is like, oh, that's my music. So I think it says a lot.
In sync. Yeah, you're in sync with your clients.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you like a chatty client or a client that's just like chilling, listening to the music and is pretty quiet?
It depends. So I don't usually talk a lot myself because I, especially when I start with the lines, I just have to be silent. Basically, I'm focusing on the crispness of the lines. I cannot talk or like be distracted. So they can just relax. Obviously if they want to talk, they can, and I will answer those questions, but I cannot like initiate, the talk. And then when I'm, shading, for example, it's whatever, I can like talk freely and I'm not that like stressed, Yeah, but people are different. If they want to talk, they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you will just answer whatever question they have.
Exactly. Yeah. And as you know, at a shop, we talk about like all the weird stuff. It can be any weird topic.
Right. Working in a shop environment is very different because you tend to get into other people's conversations and their clients' conversation with the other artists, and people make dirty jokes sometimes or whatever.
Oh, a lot of the times.
Yeah. Depends on the kind of shop
really
you're in.
Inappropriate.
Often. Which is like, I think makes clients feel like they're part of a special club.
Maybe.
When they're in that exchange between tattoo artists just being like snarky at each other.
Yeah.
And it's not, I've guested in places and had that experience. I've been like, this is interesting and fine and cool, whatever. And it's not, I've been on my own for so long now. Like I'm really not used to that anymore.
Yeah.
But you just moved. Yeah. What's the biggest difference, except the obvious, in your process, being in a shop versus being on your own?
My commute of 5 minutes walk.
That is really nice. It's true.
That was the main reason why I moved shops, basically, because it wasn't intentional. Because I love Old Crow.
Yeah.
I love everyone there.
You could have bought a house in Berkeley, Oakland.
No, I love living in San Francisco. It's too hot. Like East Bay, everywhere except San Francisco is too hot. And I live here. I don't want to move. And I love the kind of city living. I like walking. I don't like driving. I don't even know how to drive, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So like for me, it was always I was Ubering a lot, and it's like adds up, And so when I saw this location, my current shop for rent, I was like, let me check. And everything worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect.
It is, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's very you. Are you interested in a bigger shop, owning a shop with other tattoo artists working for you?
No.
You just want to be on your own by yourself?
Yeah, I'm really bad in like managing people because I really need everything to be done in a way that I do it. And when it's done like differently, it just stresses me out. And it's like, I don't know, really hard for me to be a boss. Yeah. So I don't want to do that. I'm fine on my own.
What about an apprentice? Would you take one on?
Definitely not now, because like I'm still like technically pretty new, right? So it's been about 2 years after I finished my apprenticeship. technically.
I mean, honestly, people take on apprentices
They do.
really soon. It just depends on like how you feel and what you're ready for. I was not ready. I've been doing it for 15 years and I wasn't ready until now.
Yeah.
And I'm about to have my first apprentice.
Yeah. You can talk about that. I can tell you like some insights.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
But do you feel like maybe at some point in the next, like, I don't know, another 5 years, however long?
Probably no. No, I don't know. I don't like teaching people, to be frank. Because I graduated, I went to university to be a teacher, to be an English teacher. That's where I learned English, basically. And I went to school, like for practice, taught kids to speak English, etc. And I don't like that. I don't like teaching. It just takes so much from me. It just drains me. Like I cannot. Yeah. Even like speaking of like how many clients do you have a day? Like how many clients do you have a day, for example?
On my longer day, I might have 2 full sessions and a touch-up. That would be the longest day I usually have these days. Although there was a day in the last year where I tattooed the family members of a closest friend of mine, and I think it was like 6 of them.
Oh, God.
They're all small tattoos, but it took... I was there till 10:30 p.m. and I was like dead. I was like, I can't even go home right now. Like, I'm so tired. Just the idea of like getting from the shop to the car to my house was like... So yeah, no, that's really, really occasional. But yeah, no, it's really tiring. Our job is exhausting.
Exactly. And it's not about even like physical exhaustion. It's a lot of them about like mental exhaustion because I don't know, I tend to kind of be like a transmitter. I don't know, not a transmitter, but like when you try to understand every person's feelings and kind of vibe with them, it's hard.
Yeah. Oh, what about parenting? That's going to be a big piece of teaching.
It's hard. I don't want to think about that.
You don't have to.
But it is hard. And like with an apprentice, it's a lot is at stake,
Yeah, I guess, I was approached for many years by different folks. Like originally, you and I, when we first met, you asked if you could apprentice with me, and I really had I didn't have really much to offer you, so I really couldn't have said yes. It would have been a waste of your time. Old Crow was perfect for you, right? Like ending up in a busy walk-in shop with lots of just like people coming in and out, big reach. So I was happy that happened for you. But now that I have a little bit more mental space and my commute is shorter because I was commuting to the city from the East Bay. Having 15-minute commute is so much nicer. And the person I'm going to apprentice is kind of family. She's the niece of somebody else who I've known for years.
It's going to make it harder.
I know, but I got to know her and just fell in love with her, and I just was like, this young kid is awesome, and I just really want her to succeed, and I really want to protect her from shop environments. Because she went out, she lives in another town right now, and she wanted a summer apprenticeship. It wasn't an apprenticeship, she was going to do the counter for like a big walk-in shop, and they treated her like shit. She quit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm glad you got to see it, because that is how your apprenticeship would have otherwise been.
Yeah.
And I also was ready for her to say, listen, I am going to stay here.
Yeah.
Even though we had made these plans, I was like, if she wants to stay there, that's up to her. I would have no hard feelings at all. But yeah, it's going to change everything. When she gets here and we start, it's going to change her life for sure. It's going to change my life. It's going to change the shop. It's going to change everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like I might be ready for that because it's been a long time.
No, it's good. It's good to when there is some change.
Change is good, even though it's hard.
I agree. Yeah. That's the only way we grow. So obviously in the next 5 years, I don't think I'll be ready for anyone to teach.
Yeah.
But who knows, maybe in 10 years.
I mean, you just went through this big change transitioning from the shop to here.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you need to really spend time here and settle in.
Yeah, I really want to, do that. Yeah, because I still finalizing all the details in my shop. So I'll be doing the signage on the windows, as I told you. And it's I have a lot of things, little things like that, that still needs to be, need to be addressed.
And I feel like over the course of years, little things pop up again, and you're like, oh wait, that has to change, or that has to be different, or I have to add this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, even like the website, you kind of tweak it all the time. Think what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
The newsletter, etc. Yeah.
And in fact, I feel like when you pour energy into the shop, it pours energy back into you in a way of like, when I pay more attention to the business, I work on the business, I have more clients, I have more interesting projects coming through,
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's your business. It's like, that's how it works, I guess.
But like in a woo kind of way, the energy moves, I love the way that works.
I agree. Yeah.
And so you also have a part of your business is like prints, stickers, like pins, things you make. You've been doing that for a long time now.
Oh, yeah. Like before I just, started even like tattooing. Yeah, I've been doing that.
And you have, this is like from your illustration background, I assume?
Yeah.
You're selling them online as well, or just in the shop?
No, I sell them online. I just currently I don't have all of them listed online, so there is more stuff at the shop for sure. And I'll have more, and I'll upload all of it online.
Are you on Etsy or anything?
No, I used to be, but then I just got tired of Etsy.
Why? Tell me more.
Because they were changing their policies, they were taking more percentage, etc. Yeah, and
Were you selling much on there?
I was selling some, not much, like a lot, but it's like, I sold some stuff. Yeah, even like the custom temporary tattoos. Yeah, it was fun. Like people would choose that option, and I would design temporary tattoos for them.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, like for example, like presents, like gifts for a wedding. So like people would give them out at their wedding, right? Like all the little tattoos.
How do you get that printed? It's like a special company that will print them for you? Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun. Do you ever do markets, like maker markets?
I used to. When I moved to San Francisco, I decided to fully immerse myself into art scene. So I took part in different actual markets, like a lot of different stuff, and I made a bunch of friends, in the art community. But I just don't have time for that anymore because it takes a lot.
Yeah.
You have to organize, and like me being so nitpicky and like detail oriented, I can't. But speaking of like art events, I'll be doing open studios, if you know about that program.
Here in the city? I do know they do that. So you would have your paintings and people just come in and look around.
Exactly. And Dogpatch open studios gonna be in November 18 and 19. So it's gonna be me, and I've invited my friends, a couple of my friends, two artists. So one of them, she paints, she's like an abstract painter, and she works with watercolor and like pencil and other mediums. It really is gorgeous. It's like you're immersed in those like textures of moss and like flowers, etc. Really beautiful. So it's gonna be her too. Another artist. We started kind of vibing. That's the word again. Vibing together. She's my client, and then we became friends. She's really nice. So.
Listen, like half of the people that I call my friends are like used to be clients, so I get it.
Surely, that's how you make friends in tattooing.
Seriously.
Yeah. Well, how else? You work all the time,
right?
So she makes jewelry, wire jewelry with stones, really beautiful, and also she reads tarot cards. She's really insightful.
So you're gonna have them displayed here, and your tarot card reading friend is gonna sit and do the readings.
Exactly.
Cool.
So it's gonna be, and we also will have some fresh flowers, fresh bouquets.
Nice.
From a person who does a pop-up flower shop in the neighborhood. So I talked to them, and she'll provide us with some flowers. So you will be able to buy them here too.
So did you hear that, listeners? Dogpatch, November 18th and 19th, open studios. this studio at the address of
2344 3rd Street.
is going to have all this amazing stuff. You should come by and buy some art and some flowers.
Yeah. And I'll have all the info on my website, my Instagram, etc., etc. So it's going to hang there for a while.
Your name of the studio is just your name? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm still dealing with Google Maps to put, my studio on the map. It's
Google
annoying.
Maps. Yeah.
So it didn't work yet.
It takes time.
It takes time because of the location. I don't know. It's like their system is just ridiculous. I can't really make a video that works for them. Whatever. So I'll do the signage and then hopefully it works better. So yeah, I'll be on the map. Finally. Yeah.
I hope that happens very soon because people need to know about this beautiful space.
Yeah, everyone should know.
Everyone should know. Everywhere. Tell the people how they can support your work besides getting tattooed. Are there other places online? On your website, they can buy your art.
Yeah, just on my website. That's
What's your website?
NatashaTsozik.com.
You spell
Or
it?
just go on my website. Oh, my website. Just go on my Instagram. You probably will.
I will link all that.
Yeah, exactly.
In the show notes.
Because my name is really hard to pronounce for most of the people, so I don't expect anyone to.
It's a very interesting last name. Do you know it's your husband's last name, right?
Yeah, it is. It's Yiddish.
It's Yiddish. I was wondering that. Yeah, he's Jewish. Or
no, he's
why
not.
does he have a Yiddish last
We
name?
don't know. It's just like a secret lost in the generation.
His family doesn't. They don't know.
No.
That's fascinating.
I don't know. Maybe someone got introduced in the family or whatever.
Like somebody married somebody or adopted. I wonder, if somebody got adopted.
So definitely, something like that.
How do we know he's not Jewish?
He's not. Yeah, we checked. Weirdly, I have some like a little percentage of Ashkenazi in me, but now I have a proper last name, I guess.
Yes, you do. It's a great last name. I love it.
It is. I love it.
It's very memorable. Can't really walk by
really
it and be like,
pronounce it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's translated as as a little bird. It's a type of bird.
In Yiddish.
Okay.
Yeah. And Yiddish and German. There's like like Hebrew and German.
Yeah. I don't speak Yiddish.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's kind of considered, I think, a dead language in many ways. Like people do speak it, but you have to learn it very specifically. It's not like you can go to a country and learn to speak Yiddish.
No.
It's very community-oriented language.
Exactly.
I know somebody who learned it like on purpose as an adult to speak it, and now is teaching it to her kids.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah,
and
cool.
it's really interesting that like Yiddish is really deeply integrated into Russian. So especially in the kind of underground scene, criminal kind of scene, weirdly, because I guess a lot of the Jewish people were, put into prisons and gulag and whatnot, like years, ages, I don't know, before even the revolution, etc. So a lot of the words, they have Yiddish origin, like a lot of the kind of slang words.
Colloquial like slang of that. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So when you start kind of, digging into that, yeah, like patsan.
That's a Yiddish word?
Yeah, it's pots. It's
I had no idea.
They call little boys like that.
Yeah. I had no idea. That's interesting.
And there are like a lot of words like that.
Wow. You learn new things every day.
Or like kazurny. It means like a kasherny. Yeah, so kosher.
I just thought it meant like cards, like when you play cards and it's a winning card.
Yeah, but it's like a win and it's a good card.
Oh, so it's kosher card.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So, and like there's a myriad of words like that. I'm just really into linguistics in general. It's not even about Yiddish.
How did you learn this stuff?
I don't know.
Is there a specific book?
No, I just whatever I hear, someone told me, etc. I'm just like a collection of weird facts. I usually don't remember like a nice information that, like, I don't know, I need to remember. I just remember some stuff that no one needs from me to hear.
I mean, this makes so much sense that you love Paxton Gate.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So just like a lot of the collection of little things, like a curiosity cabinet, basically. It's me. I'm a curiosity cabinet.
A curio cabinet.
Yeah.
When you go to LA, next time you go to LA,
yeah.
you have to go visit the Museum of Jurassic Technology.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's this little museum in the Venice area. You would not
perfect.
know it unless you... It's like not the beach area. It's like the Venice that's
yeah.
like where you would just drive by and never even notice anything. And it's just like this museum of random shit. It's so
Random.
odd and quirky and like really fascinating. Like there's a whole display. My favorite thing there is you come to this table and there's what are those things where you looking at things really closely? Microscopes. And under them you see these glass plates and you just see dots if you're looking, but then when you look in the microscope, it's a painting made out of butterfly wing dust.
Oh my god, it's so weird. Yeah.
It's so weird and they're beautiful. They're like flowers and birds, like these paintings, but when you just look at it, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like somebody took, I think, like a hair from like an animal and like put them together.
It's crazy.
Glued them down. Like it's wild. And like other things, they have weird skulls and like just odd machinery that is like really old and does really weird, unnecessary now things.
That's exactly what I love.
Yeah, I think you would love it.
You.
Yeah,
I would. And Venice actually is the area that where we usually stay when we go to LA.
Great.
And we're so lazy and like
that's the best area of LA, kind of. Well, Silver Lake is pretty good too.
Because like I love everything that's on the water by the beach, you know. So you can go to a beach in Venice. It's not necessarily that you must, you know, but it's nice too. Ocean is the best.
You love the ocean?
I love the ocean.
But you grew up with rivers and lakes?
Yeah.
But you like really love the ocean? Because I'm like, I still prefer rivers and lakes to the ocean. I love the ocean, but prefer rivers and lakes.
I like deep water. I'm not afraid of, you know, deep water and
animals.
Waves. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. The sharks, whatever, they didn't bother me. Obviously, if I go to Australia, for example, I would think about that.
I mean, there's sharks in Hawaii too.
Yeah. I mean, we have sharks here in San Francisco.
Sharks, right? But like, I feel like I recently heard of a shark attack in Hawaii on like a regular tourist beach, and the sharks might be pissed at the tourists. I understand.
Yeah. Speaking of Hawaii, let's help to Maui.
Yes, please send money to Maui, and don't go there. Don't go tour Hawaii right now. Indigenous people do not want tourists to come and be there.
Of people who send stuff, not just money. Don't send just clothes. People need more stuff than not necessarily just whatever stuff that you're trying to get rid of.
Right.
Yeah. So
really send money if you have a little money. Just send money. It's the most helpful thing.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Good call. Well, I'll ask you a couple more questions.
Yes.
One, do you have primary art influences in the world of art currently that you can think of that influence the way, or maybe other tattoo artists that you think are influential in your work?
I don't know, good question. I follow a lot of tattoo artists. First of all, I'm so bad with names. I don't remember names. But I follow a lot of them and I'm really inspired by everyone.
Or styles, maybe there's specific style.
Yeah, I'm really into kind of illustrative and graphic, tattoos and design where like lines really the focus. That's basically how I, tend to do my work, really line oriented. Sure, I'm amazed by all kind of different styles. Everything can be beautiful in any kind of styles, like neo-traditional or like realism or I don't know, geometric, etc., everything. But yeah, I tend to focus more on illustrative art. Same in like fine art. So I love illustration, kind of story-based stuff. That's something that's like you see, like a little story that you can come up with looking at a piece of art.
A little fox in the forest kind of a story.
Kind of. Well, look at all my prints.
Yeah, that's totally. I love your taste in art. Yeah.
But it's really kind of it's less abstract. I'm amazed by people who can do abstract. Unfortunately I tried. I cannot. I need something that can bounce off of like a plot or like idea. Yeah, to draw
it's a very
an object.
specific mindset for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody who does a lot of abstract. It's a very different mindset and a very different client who's into that kind of thing.
Yeah. So less abstract for me. More stories. Yeah.
Do you have big plans for your own bodysuit?
We want to work on my legs with henna. I really want to put something like Art Nouveau kind of, or Art Deco kind of something on the back of my legs.
That's your next plan? Do you have already an appointment for that, to start that?
Not yet.
Okay.
We started talking about that. We just need to kind of work more on the idea, what exactly we're working at.
Is it going to be like the girls, like the Muha girls, or
no, more
design?
like the ornaments that you can find in Muha girls paintings, right? Okay. So all the like ornamental stuff that surrounds,
Yeah.
The paintings, stuff like that. We'll see. I don't know. I don't have much space on me, so my arms are full, my back is full.
There's a little space. I see
this
space.
Is tiny, like little
There's
spots.
Space.
Yeah. Do you want to fill it in?
Yeah. I mean, I told you I'm happy to tattoo you in general, and also trade for Lulu.
The idea I have to work with you is maybe taking some like Russian patterns, and putting here and there, like chlama.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I know you do. That's why I'm thinking of that. Maybe add in some color. So, me personally, like in my tattoo practice, I don't use a lot of color. Just sometimes, just like occasional pops of color. I tend to do more black and gray.
But you like having color.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But on myself, my tattoos are like I have a lot of color. Like it's just mix like of different people. Yeah.
I'm kind of going the opposite way. I have a lot of color, but I'm going black. As you see, Hannah has been doing this half sleeve, and there's one session left in the back. But now I don't know what to do with the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I'm like black all the way for me at this point. I have to say it gets much hotter in the sun. Like this arm gets way hotter than this arm. So annoying.
What do you deal with that? Do you cover your arms differently?
Just what it is. Not a big fan of like sitting in the sun anyway.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
No. I get bored, as I told you.
Yeah.
I don't like boring.
What's your relationship to social media and the fact that we now have to be not only tattoo artists, but also videographers?
I hate it.
Photographers.
I don't like it.
But you have to.
I must.
Right? You must. So how do you make it doable for yourself?
Assistant.
Oh, you have an assistant. Okay.
My sister is my assistant. For people who didn't know that.
And she posts for you?
Yeah, she does. She does.
All your social media?
All my social media.
So wait, when you are watching my stories and you like my stories, is that you or her?
It's usually me. No, it's me. She usually posts. She doesn't kind of interact with people.
Okay. I wonder about that when I like interact with people who clearly have assistants, if it's actually them who I'm actually interacting with or their assistant.
That's exactly why we don't necessarily advertise the fact that like she does all of that or like answers some of the emails for the specific reason.
But that makes sense though, the email thing. And also if people are just like, hey, I'm the assistant, great. It's just when I'm interacting with people who maybe have really big accounts and I'm like, are you actually talking to me or is it not you?
I know.
It's the pretend that I don't like. If I know that it's not them, it's fine.
Yeah. I feel you. No, it's me. I like your stories. It's me who checks all the stories with people. at night when I don't want to sleep, and I just check random stories and like people I follow. Yeah, but like she does a lot of that, and also the newsletter. It's basically like a collaboration. So she creates like a general thing, right? And then we both together we go and kind of change stuff, move around, etc., etc. But yeah, I don't know what I'd be doing without her, for sure. I know what I would have been done. I would just answer emails and tattoo, and probably that's it.
But that's what I used to do.
Yeah.
Back in the day, just
Well,
answer
get an
emails and
assistant.
tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. But you know what you were saying, like how you're particular about how things are done, and that's your sister, so you can trust her.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could find somebody I could trust, but having things look and be exactly how I want them is important to me. So
I mean, you first have to understand what exactly you want and like how things done, right? And then you just start with little things. For example, they can post Instagram feed photos for you, or like do a newsletter. So something that you can give control over, right? And then maybe emails, because they can be more personal, right? Yeah. Or like, for example, replying to initial inquiries. So because when people email, how we reply, it's usually, I work like this and that. If you want to set a consultation, you can do it like this. So kind of general.
I mean, I literally have a little, totally. Like, here's my Schedulicity link. Here's my Zoom link. Like,
exactly.
I'll hopefully talk to you soon. Yeah.
Exactly.
For
so
sure.
Something that is less stressful, you can definitely let other people do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is.
I'm glad to hear you have help.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to do it without help.
Yeah.
We do too much, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I hate social media in those regards, because we have to do all of it. Yeah.
I mean, having your own business, especially in this day and age where there's just so many of us and there's so much saturation of all kinds of content online, it's, you know, and I'm realizing that like Instagram isn't there for our good. It's not like, here's this like free tool for you, you're welcome. Sure. It's like they want us to pay them to push the content, right? Nothing is actually free, but I am using the free version of it. Yeah. And that means that only like 40 people get to see what I post, even though, you know, I have 5,000 followers, but it's what it is.
Yeah, I have like even less followers than that. I get a lot of clients hitting me through Instagram.
That's great.
It's like, and also Googling me. That amazes me. How people like come through different channels, and every time that they, you know, oh, I Googled you, I was like, it means we did something right.
Yes.
You know, my sister and
the
I
SEO
did something correct.
Is good.
Yeah, because it works.
Yeah.
You know, we can do it better for sure, but like something worked.
Would you say you get what percentage of your clients from like first timers, and what percentage is from people who know people you've tattooed, and people who repeats and all that?
I have a lot of repeats. Yeah, for sure. But I do get a lot of new inquiries. Yeah.
And what about from just community outreach, basically? Like somebody's like, I saw, you know, this person in the shop, and I asked them who did their tattoo. Like, do you get a fair amount of those too?
I still get a lot of people from Old Crow. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
So thanks to them.
Yes, thanks to them. I mean, anybody, right? Everybody spreading the word about your work is a good thing.
Yeah. Or like I have a lot of clients who recommend me to their friends, family, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like, you know, relatives like, oh, like this person got a tattoo from you, and they're really happy, so they think that, you know, we can work together, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think one of the things that works so well for you is the niche. Like you are very, like your work looks like it's your work. Like there's not a mistake there of like, you have this kind of delicate fine line work, and then you have this big bold piece. Like your portfolio looks like it belongs to one person. I think that's really wonderful for like developing your business as a person on your own.
It is helpful. But like obviously, if you ask people who specialize in different styles, like to do that more.
That's me. It's
Exactly.
different styles.
Or Hannah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, she likes that.
Yeah.
It's basically she gets clients who have some specific ideas and who that needs to be done by her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to like something fine line and a lot of plans and your pet portrait, you can come to me.
Pet portraits, come to Natasha.
I love that. I really do. Yeah.
Wonderful. So what's a small thing that's been making you happy lately?
I was thinking about the question that you ask people. For me, it's usually like little routines, like get a hot chocolate every morning, also get flowers every Saturday. For example, I'm really into flowers and plants, so I have a subscription.
Flower subscription?
Yeah.
For here or for the home?
For the home.
Okay.
For the home. For here, I go to a nearby flower store or to that pop-up that I told you about and get flowers for the studio.
Where do you put them?
I have a couple of vases.
Okay.
Yeah. Just I didn't have time to bring some flowers today, but I usually do have some. Some of those little things, or like coming home after a successful and nice tattoo day and sitting on the sofa with my husband and having dinner and looking at some stupid TV show, like ridiculous.
Little routines, yeah.
Yeah, or like
Wonderful.
when he picks me up from my job, because what we used to do is when I worked at Elcrow, sometimes when we had time, he would pick me up, but with traffic is like a bit crazy, right? So he would pick me up and we go home together. He would drive us home, but now since I'm walking home, I was like, Dima, I'm done, and you can come by and pick me up, and he does, and I was like.
So this man would drive across the bay to pick you up in the East Bay and drive you home. Instead of being like, take Bart, I'll pick you up from Bart.
No, I didn't use Bart at all.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. He's obsessed with you.
He's a keeper.
He's a keeper. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, letting me come and have a look at your studio.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you and the sweet, lovely, wonderful work you do in the world.
Thank you so much.
And having you as a person to give my particular clients to.
Oh, yeah, we started working.
Good.
On their project.